give it a couple of minutes. Yeah, there's a lesson that I put together. And my plan is to make this short, Lord willing. So we'll see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. All right. Okay, let's go. And there's a famous quote that I want to read as well. Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Call Layla Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh. Bahashem Berkah Kadash. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son and our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, to the 144,000. Double honor and respect to the apostles and elders of great wisdom, to the beloved of the elect of the house of Israel, of the house of David, to the Akwaf, listening and learning in meekness and humility as the scriptures command to do so. To you we say, Shalom and Barakatah. So there's a quote that I want to read to you about these dainties, these goodies of Babylon. And really, the dainties start mentally. And there's many ingredients and chemicals in these dainties. That's on one level, to mess with our mind. And then there's a spiritual component to it as well. What we are being fed spiritually. So we are eating our bread defiled among the Gentiles. Food and doctrine. But the bread of life is found in scriptures, which is the embodiment of Yahweh. Let's read this. I tremble for my country. Thomas Jefferson, former president of the United States, he wrote, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that His justice cannot sleep forever. So the wicked global elite have studied the rise and fall of empires. So in doing so, they know that they are spiraling in a decline, a downward spiral, which starts with economics, rebellions, wars, no different from how ancient Rome fell, which stemmed from immorality. So America has pushed a culture of debauchery, covetousness, greed, bloodshed. So there's no way the Most High is going to allow this place to continue on this track that is currently on. Only a fool would put his trust in a system built on death, bloodshed, lies, and robbery. Let's read that again. Thomas Jefferson, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever. So this place, due to its crimes, immorality, due to its treachery, false history, enslaving the Lord's chosen people, there is a rapid decline in its system, in its structure. Its dollar is deflated now, losing its purchase power. So now they need to come up with a alternative system, a central bank digital currency. So they believe by retooling the system that they can overcome the rise and fall of an eon or an age of empires by simply retooling, resetting its economic structure. Let's read something. So we can upset Bible prophecy if we can reset the system through economics. There's a term in economics called speculative accounting. Speculative accounting. Let me put this in a description box. I'm going to drop this in the description box. So you can fund organizations like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and raise the prices in that region of oil because security costs. So you can manipulate the economy and the market by controlling the flow of threats. And then you can control the logistics supply chain. Raise the threat with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hamas, where the funding is traced back to the international bankers. Now you can use predictive analysis because you're able to control the threat narrative. So now goods and services go up because of the threat to shipping, the threat to embargo, pirates. Let's put this in a description box. And I'm going to read it. So all of these are created tools to manipulate the market, to shut down the supply flow, and to control the price of the dollar or the cost of the dollar, its value. And then what you do is you flood the market with more money whenever you want to deflate the dollar. You use inside trading and inside speculative accounting in order to control the power of the dollar. Let's read this. Speculation is a high-risk financial activity that involves purchasing an asset with the hope that it will increase in value. It can also refer to short sales, where the speculator expects a decrease in value. Speculation can also mean that the activity of the guessing possible answers to a question without having enough information to be certain. For example, when people predict who will win a football game, an Oscar, or an election is speculation. But what the international bankers are doing is they're funding groups like ISIS, Al Qaeda, which is causing a restriction in the supply of goods and services. So it's creating economic constraints. So now the cost of goods and services is going to rise. So they're able to manipulate the market by doing that. So the left hand of terror is turned up whenever they want to create manufactured inflation. And they produce or print more money. So now we're paying more for the same goods or services, or a decrease in those goods and services because of speculative accounting and inside trading. So these are manufactured processes. So what we have is uncertain riches. Let's go here. So a system built on robbery and theft and deceit creates an entire system of uncertain riches. Let's go here. So there was an Israelite came up to the camp last Saturday asking, where are our businesses? Where are our restaurants and businesses? Let's go to 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 6 and 17. No, we're going to go to, one moment. So there's no way we can build up economic wealth on a system that is being manipulated behind the scenes by the global elite. 1 Timothy 6. Let's go to 16. 1 Timothy 6, verse 17. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. So the true riches, the true wealth, is the wisdom of the doctrine of Yahushua. Remember, he is elevated on the right hand of the Most High. So a system that's built on massive treachery and theft is destined to fall because they've created a large wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots. The people that's been robbed are learning of that theft and robbery, a stolen heritage, a stolen legacy, stolen riches, coming back to their nationality, Israelites. And they have multiplied in great number, despite eugenics, despite Planned Parenthood, despite police violence, gang violence, despite being targeted for depopulation. The children of Israel are multiplying in their distress. Let's go to Exodus 1. Under old Pharaoh. God damn, I'm struggling to speak. Let's go to Exodus 1 and 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. So remember, America is that spiritual Egypt, where the children of Israel elect are coming back to what was stolen from us, which starts with the treasure or the knowledge and wisdom of the doctrine, the scriptures. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. So great fear is falling upon all the nations outside of the children of Israel. It's happening again. Despite Planned Parenthood, eugenics, our women have unalived 19 million so-called black babies since 1973. And that number is probably upwards of 20% higher, undocumented, unalived, or deletions. Verse 10, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. And this is what's coming right now. They're working all types of internment facilities, upwards of 800 to 900. There's videos out there now of camps being built up. Look at all types of new construction. And many of these people that own their own personal drones have seen some of these sites operated by FEMA. So what's coming? Come on, let us deal wisely with them and get them up out of the land. So the Lord's chariots have been activated. Now you have the government's chariots flooding the skies, trying to create confusion and to erase our, or to attack our faith and cast doubt that the Lord is nigh, the angels encamping around his faithful saints. So all types of man-made drones have been released as well. But the time is approaching of temptation, a seed hip that might be trusting in the dainties of Babylon, which starts with its doctrine, but is connected to a physical linked-in digital device. So that dealing wisely with the Lord's people now is through modernization and advanced technology. The digital tracking device, where we will not be able to buy or sell, taking away purchase power. And that's also tied to traveling. So this new entrenchment that is going to be cast around Jerusalem is the World Wide Web, a network or an entrenchment. Let's go here. I want to see if I can find this. And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, let's go to the blue letter. Let's go to the blue letter. Somebody knows where I'm going. It shall cast a trench. Now blue letter messing with me. Or entrench around about thee. I think it's Luke 19. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Luke 19. Let's go to 42. Luke 19. Now we know the context is talking about 70 AD. But remember, the modern day predicament is going to be 70 AD on steroids. the New World Order being implemented and targeting the Lord's people. Let's go to Luke 19, verse 42. Luke 19 and 41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. So about 40 years prior to Vespasian and Titus coming in with great slaughter, Yahushua was prophesying these events. Yahushua is also a prophet. Let's go here. Luke 19 and 43. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. So now that trench is through the network, technology, Bluetooth, Blu-ray, 5 and 6G, not only being tracked, but not even being able to leave the country without being digitally scanned. Matter of fact, let's look at that word trench. See, let's look up the word trench. Comes from the Greek, kadox. Kadox. See, a pale or a stake or a palisade. So remember that the delivery device of the Mahdi goes back to a pale or a stake or a palisade. The delivery device goes back to the Mahdi, a digital subdermal or under the skin implantable device. Matter of fact, let's go here. That's that new trench, the new trench or the network, this linked in system. That's going to be the trench around Jerusalem. Well, this is going to be the new Masada. Remember Masada, where Israel was being starved out for about 7 years and began to eat their own babies and kill one another. Remember Masada, where they were besieged for about 7 years, being entrenched in. No one or goods and services could go out, and no goods and services can come in. Let's go to Deuteronomy 31 and 29. Deuteronomy 31, let's go to 28. Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. So this word was spoken to the Israelites. For I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil shall befall you in the latter days. That's now. Because ye will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. So idolatry. So this miniature device is also an idol. Idolatry. Let's look up of your hands. In the Hebrew, yad. Yad. Of your hands. You can't make this up. Monument, phallus, So it's an idol, essentially, an idol. Let's look up this here phallus. One moment. That's not what I want. So that state or policy goes back to a karox. One moment. Let's go ahead and get that. Let's go through the work. My Shah, work. So when you look up through the work, My Shah, one moment, it breaks down into needlework. When you look up needlework, it's a miniature stake or a karox, which ties right back to the matbi, an idol linked in the 5 and 6G. See? So it's idolatry on steroids. Bluetooth technology, 5 and 6G. So those little pokes that occurred about 3 years ago was software to help receive this needlework or through the work, needlework, which is created to set the conditions for downloads and being digitally connected to the system through 5 and 6G towers. And also emits high-level radiation. And that's why many people are going to get like a CANCER. Let's go here. Because of the radiation and getting that device. So the work of your hands Moses was talking about is idolatry. The matbi and that karox or palisade or stake is a miniature idol that's going to deliver the matbi, a sea hit. Let's go to Revelation 16 and 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went, these are judgments. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. See? So being connected to 5 and 6G, radio waves, gamma rays, technology, that's that new trench that we read about in Luke 19 and 43. Masada, through a digital grid lockdown. Let's go to Mark. Mark, karagma in the Greek, a stamp, an imprinted mark. A mark stamped on the forehead or hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-Hamashiach, which was branded. The Romans used this system of branding their slaves, their servants. And certain brands would denote which emperor or which legion you belong under and to. Carved, sculpture, graven work, idolatrous images. See? So that matbi is a miniature monument We read that. It's a miniature monument, which is an idol, connected to 5 and 6G. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 31 and 29. For those that are seeking to get rich on a system built on bloodshed, theft, and robbery, they're going to be tempted or persuaded to eat this man's dainties, which is his goodies, his money, his success, his fame, built on theft, robbery, shame. Deuteronomy 31 and 29, for I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I commanded you, and evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. We're going to go back here. Monument. Where did we read that? Of your hands. God. In the Hebrew, God. Monument. See? So I was in the spirit speaking that little device is a miniature idol. Monument. See? Phallus. A phallus symbol. So in ancient Babylon, they worshiped the male private member of Nimrod. Now, through the work, in the Hebrew, Maisha. Through the work, needlework, which is a little stake or a puncturing device, a pin or needle. You can't make this up. A thing made. So it's made through the work of men's hands. Idols. Let's go here. Let's go to Psalms 141. Oh, gosh, man. Psalms 141, verse 3. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Keep the words of my mouth pure. The doctrine sound. Incline not my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works. See, the works of men's hands. It's idolatry, which is tied to a philosophy, doctrines, or commandments of men. Get rich quick schemes, so forth and so on. Let's hold that and come right back to it. Oh, man. We'll come back to it. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 3. See, Proverbs 23 and 3. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. So this is what we take in of what we've learned here. Get your college education. Get your degree. You see, get your master's degree, doctor's degree. Learn theology. Learn about the worshiping of the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, the Roman gods. Call on Jesus. So these are meats of indoctrination, what we consume spiritually, mentally, and physically. Even the food is tied to ancient ingredients of enchantment, mind control, making the men effeminate, making the women very masculine. So it's physical, mental, and spiritual dainties. And even the money is an enchantment of a talisman. with those that are your gods, the lords of this world. Edom. They are Romans, Caesars, the Benjamins, and the Abraham Lincoln, and mainly your Benjamins, your $100 bills. So his dainties is tied to his belief system. The Indoctrination of Babylon, this get-rich-quick structure. See? Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Like that bugged out Negro that came to our camp last Saturday in D.C. Where's your restaurants? Where's your businesses? Ignoring the prophecies that this place is going to be consumed with fire, nuclear fire, and the laser and chariot fire. Concentrated high energy laser beam fire. So a nigger can only think of temporary success that he can see on a system built on robbery and blood. Be not desirous of his dainties. They are deceitful meat. So everything here is a lie. Hell, I own stuff, and still it's not boast-worthy, because everything belongs to the international makers. An international monetary fund is why the IRS was set up. The IRS was set up to collect monetary revenue for the international elite, the IMF, International Monetary Fund. It's not a government entity. Even the Federal Reserve is not a government entity, but it is a vehicle, a tool set up to oppress the people, paying Caesar or paying tribute to Caesar, Rome, the Dukes of Edom, the international bankers. And this is why I be not desirous to get rich, because it is a scheme of deception. The more you make, the more they take. You get a promotion, but the cost of goods and services went up. And then they flood the system with more money. So there is no traction gain. It's like a hamster running in a turn wheel. And then they'll create threat scenarios, blowing up something, raising up Al-Qaeda, Hamas, ISIS. ISIS is connected to a false goddess that the ancient Egyptians worship. And it's also creating enchantment through chanting that name. When the media use. So the media goes back to medium, where demonic energy can be transferred through a medium or media. And they're quoting and chanting Isis, which is a false Egyptian goddess. Man-made, funded by the international bankers. His dainties. In the Hebrew of his dainties. Let's look at that. One moment. Matime. Matama. Salakia. Matama. Which is a delicacy. This looks like where we get the word mammon. Very close when you look at how it's written in the English. Delicacies. See? It says savory. So it's not just food, but it's also this monetary system. It's the system as a whole, built on false balances. So for example, you pay off a house that you bought in 1960. That house was about $15,000. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And you may have only paid about $100 a year in taxes. Now, fast forward until today. It's about, 64 years later? Now you're paying, that house is worth $150,000. And now you're paying about $2,000 a year in taxes. That is a false balance. You pay that $2,000 a year every year. You've paid for that house 10, 20, 15, 30 times over of what it's worth. So this is a system of false balances, robbery, lies. And then you're paying for your own water. I mean, who pays for their own damn water? You're paying local and county taxes and fees. City taxes and fees. Local and county, state taxes and fees. Sewage costs. Utility costs. And then you got crime that's being promoted through music, through television, lie vision. Highly weird. Why? Because now you can justify raising taxes because you are creating a system of immorality. So you're funding the privatized prison complex through creating crime and demoralizing the people, which funds the privatized prison industry. You got fatherless homes. You got violence being promoted through rap music, hip hop and R&B, adultery, violence, crime through their music industry. So it's all interconnected in the beast system. And on top of that, you got rappers wearing a Jesus piece. This is how you get rich, trusting on white man Jesus, a false god. So it's all going to be rolled together under the Mott B, a digital purchase and buying and selling system, and traveling. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. So it's not just getting into food, but it's getting into the false balances of a corrupt system. This is not real money unless it's backed by gold and silver. So we're not on the gold standard, but on a petrodollar standard, which goes back to false weights of oil reserves. And now you got Saudi Arabia that have ditched the US dollar. So now they're going to collapse this system and they're going to activate the system underneath the central bank digital currency, crypto, and blockchain. Everything is tracked from peanuts to bullets, paper, food, clothes, gasoline, traveling. Proverbs 23:4. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. The wisdom of this world is foolish to the Most High. Why you think Thomas Jefferson said, I tremble for my people or for my nation when I consider that God is just. So they've looked at the historical pattern analysis of the rise and fall of empires. And the European Union, NATO, and America is on a downward spiral. It's their time to fall. So they're trying to time it to put the entire system under a digital reset of crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin, and put the system that's dying on a digital life support. the Mahdi or the Sihir. So we can defeat the ebb and flow, the rise and fall of empires by injecting a technologically purchased and buying system of the Mahdi. We can defeat our demise or prophecy through our technology. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Proverbs 23 and 5. Proverbs 20. There's shadow banning the hell out of this video. Proverbs 23 and 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? He that is and is not, but is, that little riddle in Revelation 17. Rome that fell, and then at that time, John on the island of Patmos was under Rome, and Rome would be reborn. That beast is system, but they came back on steroids and performance enhancement, technology, the beast that was, and that is not. And I'm paraphrasing. Rome, the dragon, the beast, this system that is a shadow of the Roman Empire, and which Rome built off the ancient Egyptians, and then they stole from the ancient Greeks. So this is a conglomeration of pagan kingdoms under America, the European Union, and NATO. It's a conglomeration of paganism. They stole from the ancient Egyptians and then absorbed what the Greeks stole from the ancient Egyptians. Rome absorbed both worship practices, rituals, and government semblances underneath its umbrella of rulership. Rome. Wow. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. You can't make, I wish I was making this up. I'm not making this stuff up. So Rome, the scriptures prepared us for the final test or temptation that would come upon all the world through a digital economic technocracy. This technocracy is a shadow of ancient Rome, but it is elevated through digital commerce, tracking, global positioning system, scanning, barcode system. Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither does thou. God damn, man. Let's read that again. So the bread that's defiled under the Gentiles is not only their physical food, fast food, GMOs, synthetic meat, but it's also their doctrine. Eating our bread defiled among the Gentiles. It's manifold. One moment, Salakia. I'm fucked up bad, man. Excuse the French. Salakia for that. Let's read that again. Proverbs 23 and 6. Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. See? So this system is built on corruption, so it cannot stand. Hey, do they not use the eye of Horus? The ancient Egyptian eye of Horus. See? So they're tied to darkness and black magic. Hey, the all-seeing eye. I'm not going to do the symbol. We all know. We've seen it. The eye on your $1 bill. So this is ancient Egypt all over again that was absorbed into ancient Greece and then absorbed into ancient Rome and was reborn. America. Check the comment board. I'm going to have to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. Let's go here. So we're eating literal food defiled, but also the bread of the doctrine of the Gentiles, of the heathen, worshiping their gods. Remember, when you read Ezekiel 8, those beasts, the Israelites became like wild creatures or beast-like creatures for worshiping the gods of the other nations. Where's that at? I saw many unclean beasts and creatures, and then I'll go to the comment board. Ezekiel 8. Right here. Ezekiel 8 and 9. And he said unto me, go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So that, remember you read in Ezekiel 4 and 13, eating our food defiled among the Gentiles. So it's literal, and it's also consuming their doctrine of idols, idolatry. So we became like the beasts of the other nations, animals. See? So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols, and what? And all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. See? Not only eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, but consuming the doctrine of these nations, the heathen, idols, like white man Jesus, worshiping a goddamn rock, Allah. Brother, raising the elect. Hey, Shalom, beloved. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatam, Hashem Kwakadash. Raising the elect. Daniel 2 and 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So a system built on corruption is partly strong, partly weak, because they have mixed ideologies. And you got the haves and the have-nots. Their economics is out of whack. It's off kilter because it's built on imbalances, unjust weights, theft, robbery. Why? Every cycle, every 15 to 20 years, they do what? They start a war. Why? To finance the military-industrial complex. And on a domestic low-level scale, they promote crime through music, hip-hop, Hollywood. So they got to keep wickedness going to fuel this system that needs blood. This beast feeds off blood of your children, your wives, our nation. It needs blood. So it's built on unjust balances, not righteousness, and not gold and silver. So what you have is a melting pot of unrighteousness, unjust weights and balances, idols, bloodshed to fund a military-industrial complex. Why you think they convert these countries into NATO countries? And it costs at least a couple of $1 trillion to do it. So now you got Lockheed Martin, you got McDonnell Douglas, you got Vanguard, you got BlackRock, which are the major monopolies that keeps the business commerce going through bloodshed. But you got nations that are not faring well in this system of unjust weights, unjust balances, because it's inequitable. You got greedy, mega trillionaire, global international elite, like the Rothschilds. They want everything for themselves. So the Dukes of Edom have garnered most of the world's resources. See? So it'll never be balanced because you are not them. What's that comedian? Garland Williams, or what's his name? Carlin. He said, you're not invited to the club. They have a big club and you're not it. You're not invited. That comedian, famous comedian. Let's get ready to close out. Get one more. Psalms 141. Psalms 141. If somebody could think of the name of that comedian that says it's a big club and we're not invited. It's something Carlin something. I don't know it if I hear it. Psalms 141, verse 3. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, which is my mind, be acceptable unto you. So the straight and narrow path of the doctrine of Yahushua keeps us pure. Incline not my heart to do any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity, and let me not eat of their dainties. Let me not get ensnared to focus on mammon, the riches of this world, which leads to the matgi, the digital purchase and buying device, which also affects our ability to travel. So, so it is a trench around the Lord's people through a digital grid network. You have the water for the name of that comedian. His name is George Carlin. So this club that we're not invited to, look up the Club of Rome. Look that up. He said it is a big club and you ain't in it. That's right. They want everything to themselves. They want your retirement check. They want your 401 check. They want your real estate. They want your investments, your stocks, your bonds. Why you think the Bible says what? Somebody post 1 Timothy 6 and 17. We'll read one more and close out. Why is it uncertain riches? Because it's built on bloodshed. That's why we went to Thomas Jefferson. I tremble for my nation, considering that God is just. Whenever you build something on theft and robbery and bloodshed, then it's uncertain. It's not stable. Because it's not built on a solid ground or foundation of wisdom. Let's read one more. 1 Timothy 6. 1 Timothy 6 and 16. Who only have immortality. Let's go to 15. Which in his times he shall show who is the blessed and only potentate the King of Kings and Lords of Lords. That's Yahweh, that is on the right hand of the Most High. So he has inherited eternal glory. That's the kingdom. That's the riches that he's going to set up on this earth with the joint heirs of the sons of God, the sons of Jacob, the Israelites, through the men, which in his times he shall show who is blessed, and only potentate, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, who only have immortality, dwelling in the light which no man can approach, unto whom no man hath seen, nor can see, to whom be honor and power everlasting. That's treasure, immortality forever. But he's going to establish his kingdom on earth on the throne of David. Charge them that are rich in this world that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God. Charge them that are rich in this world that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. So that giveth us what? The doctrine of salvation, the doctrine of Yahweh. So following the trajectory of our Lord and Savior, how he sacrificed himself to inherit and obtain eternal glory, riches, which starts with wisdom. Let's close out with this. Romans 11, verse 32. For God hath concluded them all in unbelief, that he might have mercy upon all. So eventually all Israel is going to be saved through the Lord's crown jewels, elect. So the Israelites is a world without end, made to be eternal, created before the foundation of the world. But that's going to be done through an anointed sect or segment, elect. Verse 33. Oh, the depths. Romans 11 and 33. Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out. So that dumb nigger that came up to us talking about where's your businesses and restaurants. You okay? Hey, I own a business. That doesn't make me have glory here. I'm paying tribute to Rome, International Monetary Fund, the international bankers. How is that worthy to boast of? Dumbass. If we're still paying tribute to Rome, we're rendering unto Caesar what is Caesar. So this is his time to shine. This is his throne. The prince of the power of this world. Rome, Esau, Caesar. So this is not our time of glory. Till Shiloh comes. Yahweh, the peaceable one. Right now, we're still slaves. If you're a slave with a higher income, well, you're just a higher wage slave. Nothing to boast about. And if you brag about being a slave, that makes you an idiot. Yeah, came up to us talking about where's your restaurants, like the Ethiopians had. The Bible says the Ethiopians are going to be slain by his sword. And when you read Jeremiah 25, all these nations outside of the elect of Israel are going to be slain by his sword. And Isaiah 45 and 14. These nations are going to bow down to the sons of God. Yasharallah, he is a prince of the power. Talk about where's your restaurants. Defiled food under a corrupt system built on theft, robbery, and bloodshed. A total dumbass that we pay tribute to the international bankers. What is that worth bragging about? Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakadash. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharella and the Ba. Trust not in uncertain riches, neither eat of his dainties, being defiled by the knowledge of this world, science, technology, get-rich-quick schemes, fake wealth that's not backed by gold and silver. What's that little Timon and Simba, that Timon-looking boxer that be flashing his money on camera? You look like Timon from Lion King, a little narrow-head, beanie-head-looking Negro. Be flashing his money, Witherspoon, I think. Witherspoon. That ain't nothing but damn Federal Reserve notes. This system can collapse in 1 day, 1 hour. And all of that is going to be is fuel for the fire, to kindle a fire and keep warm. Yeah, that little Timon-looking Negro. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharella. Floyd Witherspoon, that's his name. Kwam Yasharella and the Ba. We got next, Lord willing. Barakathun. Shalom. Shalom. No, Floyd Mayweather. I'm surprised somebody didn't correct me on that. Floyd Mayweather. Right, the water. All right, I'm going to call him Timon. Yeah. His father called him Cassius, I'm going to call him Clay, something from the movie Coming to America. Yep, the water up. Yep, Floyd Mayweather. Flashing all his Federal Reserve notes. Now, if you had a gold vault and a $50,000 small shot glass of scotch, then maybe that would be something worth bragging about. Really gold and silver. And owning islands, land resorts, real estate, high-priced real estate. So the fatness of the earth is given to the wicked, pursuant to Genesis 27. Esau would inherit the fatness of the earth, pursuant to Job 9 and 24. But right now, everything here is just unjust weights, unrighteous or unjust balances. It's all fake, smoke and mirrors. It's a paper tiger. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharella and the Ba. We got next, Lord willing. Barakathun. Shalom.